humiliated his crippled wife in front of his baby mama. Annabel was once the envy of many. She was beautiful, graceful, and married to one of the most powerful billionaires in Lagos, Chief Desmond Okoye, the owner of a sprawling real estate empire. From the outside, their life was perfect. Lavish parties, red carpet events, exotic vacations. It seemed Annabel had it all. But behind the golden gates of their mansion, cracks were forming. After a ghastly car accident 2 years ago, Annabel was left paralyzed from the waist down. She had been on her way to surprise Desmond on their anniversary, but he never showed up. He claimed he was stuck in a meeting. Rumors started to swirl, but Annabel shut them out, hoping love would win. Her once doting husband had changed. Desmond now saw her wheelchair, not her heart. What used to be admiration turned into irritation. He avoided her touch. He no longer looked at her the same. But Annabel stayed, because love, she believed, was patient. Unknown to Annabel, Desmond had moved on. While she fought her physical pain and emotional isolation, he found comfort in the arms of a younger woman, a social media influencer named Vanessa. Bold, flashy, and manipulative, Vanessa knew exactly what to give Desmond: youth, lust, and adoration. When Vanessa got pregnant, Desmond didn't panic, he celebrated. He wanted a son, and Vanessa was carrying one. He started spending nights away, attending business trips and avoiding family gatherings. Annabel began to notice the scent of another woman's perfume, lipstick stains on his shirts, late-night phone calls. When she confronted him once, he exploded. "Don't stress me with your crippled drama. You should be grateful I haven't thrown you out yet." Those words cut deep. The sun blazed mercilessly over the grand compound of the newly built mansion. Laughter and high-life music echoed across the well-decorated yard. High-profile guests, celebrities, politicians, and socialites sipped champagne under luxury canopies. All of them came to honor Chief Desmond Okoye and, as everyone whispered, his soon-to-be second wife, Vanessa. But then the music softened. A sudden hush fell over the crowd. Annabel had arrived. Clad in a rich emerald gown that flowed over her wheelchair like royal silk, she rolled herself in gracefully, head high, shoulders back, smile forced. Her makeup was soft but flawless. Her presence stunned the crowd, not because she was expected, but because she wasn't. Gasps flew across the yard like wildfire. "Is that not his wife? The one that can't walk? She still day come party. Ah, she try-o. I just pity her. What is she still holding on to?" Some people moved away awkwardly, pretending not to notice her. Others stared at her like she was an unwelcome ghost haunting her husband's new life. A few guests whispered fake greetings, out of pity, not respect. One woman even laughed behind her wine glass, shaking her head. Annabel saw it all, and felt every sting. But she didn't leave. She couldn't. This was the man she had loved for 10 years. The man she had built a life with. The man whose name she bore. Leaving now would mean surrendering not just her dignity, but everything. Her marriage. Her home. Her identity. She continued forward, hoping, begging, praying silently that Desmond would see her and remember their love. That something inside him would soften. But Desmond saw her, and his face twisted with rage. Vanessa, heavily pregnant and dressed like a queen, clung to his arm smugly. She leaned in and whispered something into his ear. He chuckled, and then stepped forward with a microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, his voice booming through the speakers. "It seems we have an unexpected visitor." People turned to look. All eyes were on Annabel. "My dear wife, Annabel," he added with a mocking smile. "Still finding ways to embarrass me in public." The crowd gasped. Annabel froze. This occasion is for people who matter. People who add value. Not pity cases on wheels. Laughter erupted. Some chuckled uncomfortably. Others clapped nervously, unsure whether it was a joke or a jab. A few people turned away in embarrassment, unable to look Annabel in the eye. She wanted the ground to open and swallow her. But she clenched her fists. She would not cry. Not here. Not in front of strangers. Desmond, she said, her voice trembling. I'm still your wife. Not for long, he cut in sharply. You're just holding on to what's already dead. Let go. Leave with whatever little pride you have left. Vanessa laughed loudly, rubbing her belly, and added, Don't worry, Auntie. I'll take good care of him, and the house too. That was the final slap. Annabel's eyes filled with tears, but she still didn't move. Not until Desmond raised his hand and waved over the security guards. Please take her inside. Or out. Anywhere but here. The guards approached hesitantly. They didn't want to touch her, but they had to obey. Humiliated, Annabel turned her chair herself, and slowly wheeled away as the party resumed behind her. No one stopped her. Not even the friends who once praised her beauty. Not even the cousins who danced at her wedding. Not even Desmond's mother, who watched silently from the corner, pretending she hadn't seen anything. Back inside her room, surrounded by gold-plated walls and expensive furniture, Annabel broke down. She wept until her voice cracked. Her entire body shook with rage and heartbreak. She looked around the mansion, the house she helped decorate, the empire she stood by as it was built. Every corner held memories. Photos of anniversaries, travel souvenirs, dusty wedding portraits. Now all of it felt like a cruel joke. But even in her pain, she couldn't bring herself to leave. I've come too far, she whispered. I won't give up. Not yet. She told herself she was fighting for her home, for her vows, for the years she had given to him. But deep down, a new seed had been planted, not hope, but silent rage. She may have lost Desmond's love, but Desmond had just lost something far more dangerous. Her silence. After the party humiliation, Annabel faded into the background of her own life. The mansion that once echoed with love had become a silent prison. Desmond no longer looked at her, not with love, not even with contempt. He simply ignored her existence. She would sit in the living room as he walked past her like air. No greetings, no words, not even eye contact. The staff, once loyal to her, now took orders only from Vanessa. Her clothes were moved from the master bedroom to a guest room, without her consent. The keys to the car she had used were quietly taken away. Even the nurses who once assisted her with therapy were dismissed. One day, she overheard a conversation between Desmond and his manager. Book a first-class suite in Dubai, Desmond said. I'm taking Vanessa. She's been stressed lately with the pregnancy. And Madame Annabel? The manager asked hesitantly. What about her? Desmond scoffed. She has her wheelchair and Netflix. What more does she need? Annabel's heart sank. But she didn't flinch. She waited until she was alone to break down in tears again. Every weekend, Desmond would vanish. Dubai, Seychelles, Mauritius, Paris. Instagram was flooded with photos of him and Vanessa, dressed in matching designer clothes, kissing under foreign sunsets, holding hands at beach resorts, laughing in private jets. Vanessa made sure to tag Desmond in every post. Annabel made sure not to look, but always did. Desmond started bringing Vanessa to the house openly. She would come into the mansion, tossing her designer bags on the couch Annabel once chose. She walked barefoot on the marble floors Annabel helped pay for. She slept in the same bedroom Annabel once called hers. Sometimes, Vanessa would deliberately bump into Annabel in the hallway. Oh, you're still here, she'd ask with a smirk. You're stronger than I thought. I would have left if I were in your place. Must be really hard, seeing me wear your husband's shirts. The words hurt more than slaps. Desmond didn't just allow it, he encouraged it. One morning, Annabel entered the dining room to find Desmond feeding Vanessa grapes. They both burst into laughter as she rolled in. When she tried to speak to him later, to remind him of their vows, of the life they had built, Desmond cut her short. You were once beautiful, Annabel, he said coldly. But life happened. I can't live with a woman who only reminds me of pain. Don't expect me to feel guilty for wanting more. But I was with you when you had nothing, she whispered, voice shaking. I stood by you when you were just a man with a dream. And now I'm a man with options, he snapped. And I've made my choice. You can stay here if you want, but don't think for a second you still matter. He walked away, leaving her in tears. Weeks later, Vanessa gave birth to a healthy baby boy. Desmond threw a naming ceremony so grand, it made headlines across the country. Traditional dancers, red carpet arrivals, a live broadcast. The event was called the Billionaire's New Legacy. Annabel was not invited. She watched the event from the guestroom TV, her hand trembling on the remote. But it wasn't just the event that broke her. It was Desmond's interview that followed. "This child is a blessing," he told the reporter, holding Vanessa's hand. "He's the future of my empire. My son. The only family that truly matters." That night, Annabel didn't cry. She sat in silence, staring at the wedding ring still on her finger. The pain had numbed. The tears had dried. But her resolve, it sharpened. She knew what she had to do. If Desmond truly saw her as nothing, then he had no idea what a woman with nothing left to lose could become. Annabel stayed. Not because she had nowhere else to go, but because leaving felt like dying twice. Each day in the mansion became a quiet war. The sound of Vanessa's heels clicking down the corridor. The baby's cries echoing through the halls. Laughter from Desmond's new family rang like daggers in Annabel's ears. But she never spoke out. She simply watched, unseen, unwanted, but present. Every time Desmond passed her without a word, she stared at his back and whispered in her heart, "One day, you'll remember what you threw away." At first, Desmond was on top of the world. New baby, younger woman, more fame. He bragged about being a man who could have it all. But soon, small cracks began to show. Business meetings started to go wrong. One of his top clients pulled out of a Billionaire deal without explanation. Another real estate investment failed, costing him millions. Vanessa was no help. She complained constantly about being tired, bored, or not vibing with motherhood. She hired 4 different nannies within 2 months. All of them quit, saying she was impossible. Desmond's once glorious mornings, filled with fresh orange juice and back rubs, turned into loud arguments and slammed doors. Vanessa accused him of cheating. He accused her of being lazy. And all the while, Annabel watched. She saw the tiredness in Desmond's eyes, the weight of fatherhood, the fake smiles he now forced for the cameras. He no longer walked like a king. He walked like a man slowly drowning, too proud to ask for help. One evening, Desmond returned home earlier than usual. The mansion was quiet. Vanessa had taken the baby to her sister's for the weekend. As Desmond entered, he heard something he hadn't heard in a long time. Singing. Soft. Melancholic. Familiar. It was Annabel, sitting alone in the garden, singing the lullaby she used to hum to him when he was broke and stressed and hopeful. He paused. Something about her voice stopped him in his tracks. He watched her from the balcony, her silhouette bathed in the orange sunset, the wind gently brushing her braids. She looked older, tired, but peaceful, strong. For the first time in a long time, he missed her. A memory hit him like a slap. The day he was almost arrested years ago over a bad loan, and Annabel sold her gold jewelry to bail him out. She didn't complain. She just hugged him and said, "We'll rise. Together." His chest tightened. He sat in the dark, unable to move. Ashamed. Confused. Haunted. Over the next few weeks, Desmond's troubles grew. 2 board members resigned from his company. His name became entangled in a land fraud scandal. The press began digging into his finances. Then came the real blow. His mother, the woman who once encouraged him to marry Vanessa for a male heir, came to visit. She asked to speak to him privately. "Desmond," she said, "I visited Annabel today. Sat with her. Talked with her." He said nothing. "That woman is not weak. She's just deeply wounded. And you've become a shadow of the man she helped build." Desmond's lips trembled. "You gave everything to a woman who loves only the spotlight. But you threw away the woman who loved you in the dark." That night, Desmond couldn't sleep. He walked to Annabel's room and stood by the door. He didn't knock. Just listened. He could hear her praying softly. "Lord, I don't ask for his love anymore," she whispered. "Just give me peace and the strength to let go." Desmond turned away, shattered. One rainy morning, Annabel called Desmond to the main lounge. Her voice was calm, her eyes clear. She handed him a brown envelope. Inside were signed documents. "What is this?" he asked. "Separation papers," she said quietly. "I won't fight for love anymore. I've done enough." Desmond's hands shook. "Annabel." "You don't have to say anything," she interrupted gently. "You already did. With your actions. I just came to say goodbye while I still have dignity." She wheeled herself to the door, paused, and turned back. "You may not feel it now, but one day, when the lights are off and everyone is gone, you'll remember the woman who stayed when she had every reason to leave." She left. And for the first time in Desmond's adult life, he cried.